Good morning. Welcome to Pastor John's Fireside Chat. It is Wednesday, September 23rd. I hope that you're doing well. We are on the 9th day of the Red Letter Challenge. The challenge for today kind of hit me like a 2x4 right between the eyes. It's about solitude. It's about taking time away from the busyness of life to be in the presence of God. Zender starts out day 9 with a study done by Associate Professor Michael Zigarelli, and he polled 20,000 Christians of all ages from 39 different countries, and this is what his report tells us. And as he says, his report tells us the obvious: we're busy people. In fact, almost 60% of Christians around the world say their hectic lives prevent them from spending time with God. Now, the reality is that's not true. Our busy lives don't keep us from spending time with God. We choose what we spend time with. And far too often, we choose the wrong thing. I love his quote for today. We need to say no to many good things so we can say yes to the best thing. As I read this, I was thinking about an event that took place in the book of Acts in the early church. There were some widows that were not getting their needs met, as well as some other widows, and so the people came to Peter, the head of the church at the time, and said, hey, you need to address this. And listen to Peter's response. It would not be right for us, the apostles, to neglect the ministry of the Word of God in order to wait on tables. Brothers, choose 7 men from among you who are known to be full of the Spirit and wisdom. We will turn this responsibility over to them and will give our attention to prayer and the ministry of the Word. Now, Peter got it right. Even though this was a very good thing that the people were bringing to him, the care for the widows in the church in Jerusalem, it was a very good thing, but he knew that it wasn't his calling to say yes to that, because he had a different calling that he needed to say yes to, and that was to prayer and the Word. But he took care of it by having the people raise up other leaders who would be responsible to saying yes to that thing that they needed to say yes to. The bottom line is, there are lots of things that vie for our time, for our attention. We can say yes to many of them, and they are good things. However, if we say yes to too many things and we start using that as an excuse for not saying yes to taking time with Jesus, our priorities are all wrong. And we will eventually become empty. Because as I've shared in the past, you can't pour from an empty cup. Solitude is so important because it's when we spend time with God that God does His work in us, so that ultimately He can do His work through us. I pray that you are taking some time to just stop right now and to consider that you have a choice. You don't have to let the responsibilities or the so-called obligations or the demands of other people dictate how you live your life. Dictate it out of a value-based life that says spending time with God is the starting point. It is the most important point, and once that is met, then everything else will tend to fall in place. Have a great day in the Lord.